Yet another Turkish military operation against Kurdish separatists. Ankara says it's determined to annihilate the outlawed PKK. But how risky would a campaign at this time be? How would the international community react? And is the current PKK the same outfit it was a few years ago? This is Inside Story. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. As tensions mount between Turkey and Iraq along their shared border, what will the next move be? Iraq's told Turkey it's ready to hold talks over the outlawed PKK, who are fighting in the region for their own ethnic homeland. It comes amid a major build-up of Turkish troops on its border with northern Iraq, and after protests from Iraq to Turkey about shelling in the area. Turkey says PKK rebels are sheltering there and blames them for increased attacks on Turkish soil in recent weeks. Meanwhile, thousands of people took to the streets on Saturday in mainly Kurdish southeast Turkey to protest about separatist violence. It comes as speculation mounts that Turkey could launch full-scale ground raids into northern Iraq in search of the rebels. Washington has urged Turkey not to take unilateral action. Well, Turkey's president has said he's determined to continue the fight against the PKK. The 22-year battle has claimed many thousands of lives so far. His words, "We will continue to wage with determination our just war against separatist terrorism until the annihilation of the final terrorist." Although Iraq's government says the shelling has undermined good relations with Turkey, it does consider the PKK illegal. In a letter of protest about the shell fire, Iraq's foreign ministry says Iraq would like to take this opportunity to declare its resolve to cooperate with Turkish authorities to allay Turkey's legitimate fears through a constructive dialogue and positive cooperation. Now, tensions between Turkey and the PKK have been especially high in the last few weeks, but the conflict between them has been going on for years. Training for a battle that's been waged for decades. The Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, trains here in northern Iraq near the borders with Turkey and Iran. Founded in Turkey in the 1970s, their goal is to establish an independent Kurdish state in what's now southeastern Turkey. PKK launched their battle for independence in 1984. They fought the Turkish government by attacking Turkish political and commercial interests, as well as tourist areas. More than 37,000 people have died in the conflict, and it led to the arrest of the PKK's leader, Abdullah Öcalan, in 1999. He was convicted of treason and sentenced to life in prison. During Öcalan's trial, he ordered a ceasefire, but the PKK called off the one-sided truce in 2004, and the fight continues. The Turkish government has blamed recent bomb attacks on the PKK, including this one in Ankara in May. The blast killed 6 and injured more than 100. The growing tension between Turkey and their Kurdish minority also means growing worries for Iraq and the US. They see stable Kurdish Iraq as an Iraqi success story and worry that Turkish action against the PKK in northern Iraq could bring instability to the region. Well, joining us now are our guests from Erbil in northern Iraq, Dindar Zabari, Kurdistan Regional Government Coordinator to the UN Affairs, and from Istanbul, Hassan Koni, Professor of International Law and Relations at Istanbul University. Mr. Zabari, are you preparing yourself for an attack?
As we have said before, Turkish government, it's a neighboring government, neighboring state to Iraq, and issues to do with sovereign matters like border security are matters to be sorted out within the laws and procedures and diplomatic relationships that exist today between the countries, and at this stage between Iraq and also Turkey in one hand. We from the Kurdistan region, as part of the Iraq Federal Republic, we have passed our worries to the Iraqi Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and it was yesterday that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Iraq has sent a complaint to the Turkish government on the bombardments of the territories that are beyond the border of the Turkish authorities.
So do you believe that there will be military action against you?
Dialogue with the Turkish side, and Hopefully not. Hopefully not, because military action, it will not sort out any disputes at this stage between us and also between the other neighboring states. Iraq has a constitution, and this Iraq, the new Iraq, calls for the peaceful resolutions to all the disputes and dissatisfaction that some of the countries are presuming today for Iraq or against Iraq. The Turkish element and the Turkish factor in the Middle East, it's an important element, it's an important factor. And we in Kurdistan region, we value that. We supported the Turkish investment in Kurdistan region for many years. There are plenty of investment from the neighboring states, and the main one came from Turkey. We have had relationship with Turkish government for the last 10 years.
Okay, well, let's find out what the Turkish response is likely to be. Professor Coney, do you think that despite, excuse me interrupting, despite all the international warnings, do you think Turkey will take this military action any further?
Well, I don't think so. Because Turkey recognized sovereignty of Iraq and working together with the United States of America and the Iraqi authorities. And they are just following until 15 or 10 kilometers within the mountainous area of the border. Some of the separatist terrorists who are escaping from Turkish authorities, and that's all. And there will be no further operations, I believe, within northern Iraq.
So what do you think Turkey's ultimate game plan is here? What are they trying to achieve?
They want to stop the border crossing by the terrorists, because they have several camps in northern Iraq, and they had in the past some camps in Iran, because they were crossing the borders from Iraq and hitting within Turkey and getting back to Iran, and from Iran hitting in Turkey and going down to northern Iraq. So that's why they want to stop this. And now the Iranian authorities are also bombing those Pejak group who belongs to PKK organization. And now the Turkey is doing the same thing. So they are squeezed from both sides because they are interfering in the internal affairs of those countries. So both Iran and Turkey seeing them as separatist terrorists.
Mr. Zabari, we have seen quite a dramatic increase in PKK-led violence recently. What do you think is behind that?
I believe there is a kind of I believe there is an important question that we have to answer. It's the rights of the minorities, rights of the nations, and rights of the peoples in the Middle East. And I think the problem in Turkey is something to do with internal affairs of the Turkey and the state of Turkey. But what it means in terms of the incursions in areas in Iraq, that agreement is not anymore valid, because after the liberation of the Iraq after 2003, Iraq has a new constitution, Iraq has a new leadership, and there are no agreements right now between Iraq and Turkey or any other countries neighboring to Iraq to allow that incursion to happen unless there is an agreement in advance. And I believe that there must be dialogue at the level of the foreign ministries. There must be dialogue at the level of the leadership of the two countries, and not to be targeted or not to be ignoring the federal authorities and the federal government in Baghdad. The position of Prime Minister Maliki was very confirmed, was very assured that there are no mercy to any intervention into affairs of Iraq. Iraq will not accept that. Iraq has complained already yesterday. And I think to do with the issue of PKK, there must be dialogue, not only between Iraq, but also between Iraq, Turkey, America, and also other elements that are on the stake of the table.
Mr. Zabari, you said there must be dialogue, but why will your government not do anything about the PKK fighters? They have been linked to many of these atrocities recently. Why does your government not do anything to put a stop to that?
There is no official communication. There is no official communication between KRG, Kurdistan Regional Government, and the PKK guerrillas in the mountain areas. These are areas that it's out of the control of the KRG. These are areas that is to do with the sovereign matters, it's to do with the Iraq and the defense ministry in Baghdad in collaboration with other sources. and we are not the mean here to discuss and to sort out the matters between the borders of the states. It is up to the Iraqi government, up to the Prime Minister Malik, and up to the defense matters, defense issues in Baghdad to sort out. And today especially that we have Iraqi and American forces working together to bring stability and security to Iraq, I believe it's a matter also to do with Americans.
Okay, Professor Kani, secular issues have been bubbling underway in Turkey for some time now. We've got elections coming up next month. Is there any significance in this timing? Any coincidence?
Well, we don't really know, but at the beginning of May, PKK declared that the ceasefire is ended. Now they will take an action. And because of the internal developments, this coincided with the domestic elections at the same time. Now the Kurdish party is going into the elections. So this is not very helpful for their election efforts that will be represented within the Turkish parliament.
And at the same time, Turkey, excuse me interrupting, Turkey doesn't want to see the 2007 referendum go ahead in Turkestan about the future of Kirkuk, oil-rich Kirkuk.
Oh, this is another political issue, and they are discussed with the United States of America and the Iraqi authorities. This is not related with the terrorism issue. So this is a quite different thing. It can be done
but Turkey is very concerned that this will lead to instability within the area.
Well, it is concerned, but it will take a long time. Now, the issue is, for this border crossing, is the terrorism which is coming from northern Iraq, and the northern Iraqi authorities are not doing really anything to stop this. You see, according to the international law, from one sovereign country to have a terrorism against another sovereign country is not acceptable. We are fighting for that. But other issues are international issues.
Okay, when we come back, we will discuss the implications of any military campaign on the situation in Iraq. Stay with us.